Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode, Kuzil Farms. I'm up on the second floor of my greenhouse here, kind of doing some work, and just finished. Ooh, almost run off the edge there. Just finished rendering the previous video. Gonna jump in and do the second one. Can't record two videos at a time, but I did want to do an update on a couple things, and then bring you along for some more stuff here. Now that that video is done, I can work on another one. So we're getting along pretty good up there. Got the second floors. Half of it is done. Let's see if I can come up here to... So I've got this half done, plus the middle area, and kind of working on the... Oops, sorry, this sound is on over here. Kind of working on the this side over here in between videos while I render them. I'm going to move my cows over here. This is going to be my... what do you call this? A barn. My chicken coop, greenhouse, barn. I should label them so that so that I have the nomenclature down. Okay, so let's do an update on this. It probably took, let's see, I don't know, maybe an hour to render that video. It takes quite a while. I don't know. It's really quick to record, really quick to upload. It takes probably 5 minutes to upload. It's really fast. Got incredible internet speed, but the actual processing of the video to get it to upload is pretty slow. Okay, so now we've gotten quite a lot of kills here. I don't know how many cows this is, but we've collected ourselves some fluid essence in there. I have no idea what to do with that. We should probably look that up in JEI. Let's see. Oh, it probably tells me here, right here. Essence bucket. Right click on that to tell me what to do with essences. Oh, we can put it in a fluid dictionary convert. No, I don't want to do that. Essence of knowledge. Maybe I do want to. And then that gets turned into... I don't know what essence of knowledge is. Back into regular essence. Okay, well that seems useless. Biofield protection slime. Maybe the book will tell us something that we can do with it. Let's see here. Magic. It's probably used for magic, actually. Now that I think about it. Maybe not. Generators. There's essence generator. Nope. Okay. Agriculture. Can I use that for anything? Okay, well, let's actually take a look at the... I think it's down here. Mob interaction. The mob crusher. Essence. Experience orbs into essence. When additional... I wonder if I can put it in like a solidifier or something. But no, it... oh, maybe that's what it's doing. Okay, but I don't know what to do with essence. When having an adult filter... Okay, I'll do some more research into that off camera, because I'm not sure what to do with the essence. Because that's my experience, and I want that. Oh, that makes me wonder if is there like an experience solidifier machine? Storage. I do want to check out these black holes. I think it's kind of like the modular storage. I think it's the very same idea, actually, but just in a different format. I think the black hole can hold a lot, and then the black hole controller interacts between the two, I think. I'd like to check that out. And then there's a black hole tank for fluid, so that's kind of cool. No, I'm not seeing it right off the bat. Resource production. So there's water condensator. Get that word out of my mouth. Material stonework, fluid pump. Oh, that's cool. Froster. Washing factory. Okay, well, yeah, I'll do some research on that off camera and see how I can get that essence back into the experience form so that I can use it. Okay, I figured out how to get this to work up here. I was being a complete derp. I had my sensor. Okay, so Let me just delete this channel and remake it. And make sure the machine is off. Ooh, a little bit of lag there. The machine is off. So let's delete this channel and I'll just kind of show you how to use it. Okay, so we're going to use the logic channel. Logic, fly through here real quick. Energy, you know how to use that. Energy is for taking your power supply and moving it all over your network. It's kind of like power cables, but more powerful because we can do more than just power with this system, right? There's also logic, which I'll show you here in a second. I don't know anything about storage at the moment. We've used item, we've used fluid. So let's take a look at logic. So I'm going to create a logic channel here. And then I had the input device looking at the power cell. I don't really care what the power cell is doing. I care what the reactor is doing. So I have my connector, and they made it in advanced. That's not necessary. If you look at that and you're like, oh, I need to make an advanced, I don't have diamonds, emeralds, so I can't do this. That's not true. Make a regular connector and stick it on there and it'll work just fine. These are not directionally necessary commands that I'm giving this. In fact, I'm not even touching the directions. So what I should do is I should take all three of these out and put regular ones back in. Okay, so I'm going to disable this while I work with it. And I want to look at the power tap part. Okay, just making sure he was below us. I want to look at the power tap part here, and I want this to be the information that I'm looking at. So I'm going to hit create. And don't worry about the sides up here. We want this to say sensor, and we want this to be 10. 10 is the lowest that it can go. 5 is the lowest that it can go. But that's every quarter of a second, and that's not necessary. This is every half second, and that's fine. We don't want to lag down our computer with it checking every quarter of a second. So 4 times a second, that seems a little bit much. So what I'm going to do is I want the sensor to sense energy, right? So you can sense items, whether there's a certain number of items, and we can put a filter over here to filter those items if we want. Same thing with fluid. We can put a bucket over here to sense our fluids. This is a really powerful channel. We can look at energy, which we're going to do, and then we can also look at the redstone signal, the redstone strength. So we can say, okay, if the redstone strength is above a certain amount, you guys know that like a redstone torch puts out a signal of, I think it's 16, and then as you move blocks away, that number decreases by 1 per block. So 16 blocks away, the block after that's going to be a redstone signal of 0. Okay, well, we can manipulate that redstone signal at any time through the XNet system. If that kind of glazed your eyeballs over, just forget that I just said that. Anyway, so we can take a look and see what the power of the redstone signal is if we want. We're not going to do that. We're going to look at energy. Man, that guy's loud. How is my hunger? Good. So we're not going to eat the bow. I do want to change this pig iron to something else. So let's say that I'm hungry and I go to draw back. Well, it will eat it and interrupt my drawback. Well, in a fight situation, that's really, really bad. And I'm going to be taking damage, which is going to be reducing my hunger. So I'm going to be changing this away from pig iron into something different fairly soon. But I'll do that with you on camera. Okay, back to this. So we're going to look at energy, and then here is our logic for that. Okay, so you guys know these symbols, right? Equal sign, does not equals, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay. Those are very basic logics, and we use them in programming all the time. I'm not a programmer, but I have studied some programming. I've taken some programming classes, learned a couple different languages. That's not necessary. Okay, so basically what we're going to set this, and you're just going to talk it through. If your sentence includes, if this is equal to this, then do this, then you're going to use the equal sign. If your sentence is, if this is less than this amount, then do this, or if this is greater than this amount, then do this, that's how you're going to logic it through, okay? So we're going to want this thing to, when the energy is below a certain amount, send a redstone signal out to the machine and tell it to turn on. Okay, so I'm going to say less than 1 million, because this energy, this power plant is ridiculous and is very powerful. Okay, so it can put down 1 million RF rather quickly. And we're going to output a color to, let's just make sure that we define a color so that way we can make sure that we use that color and it's not just kind of randomly throwing it out to whatever black that's out there. So we're going to set to yellow, and that just means what we just did here is if the energy in the machine is less than 1 million RF, send out a signal to this channel color, which is white. Okay, so then in our port on the extreme reactor here, we have it set to operate toggle reactor on and off with a redstone signal. Okay, we can also set it on pulse. That's not what we want. We want it to be on signal. So we've selected this. You can come in here and select these. We want this to be green, the green box surrounding the toggle reactor on and off. And set from signal, we want that to be what's shown here. Okay, if this commit sign looks like this and everything else looks like this, you want to click on the commit. Okay, that means that we are setting this setting. So let me just change it here. Okay, so if your screen looks exactly like this, where you've got the input toggle reactor on and off, set from signal, and this commit sign looks like this, click on it. We want it to be dark gray. Okay, so that means that we've set everything up to look like that. Now over here, so since we've told our big reactor to function, turn on and off based on a redstone signal, okay, so we could put a lever right there. We could put a lever and flip it on, and the machine would turn on. The reactor would turn on. We could flip the lever off, and the machine would turn off. That's what we're doing here, is we're setting up a really, really complicated lever. But that lever moves on and off by itself based on how much energy is in the reactor. Okay, so let's set this. Okay, and you're going to change this to output. Okay, so right now it says sensor. We don't want it to sense anything. We want it to actually output something. And we're going to set this to 16. Oop, 16. Just because that's, a strong, solid redstone signal. Anything less than that, I'm not entirely sure it'll work. It probably will, and we're going to set the channel to white. Okay, so basically what this is doing is, to kind of wrap it all back up, every half second, so every 10 ticks, the controller here is going to look at this power tap right here, and it's going to say if there's less than 1 million RF in there, then send a redstone signal over to this reactor port. So basically, this is the fancy lever that's looking over here and is turning itself on and off by itself. At 1 million RF, it turns itself off. Less than 1 million, it turns itself back on. Okay, which is sending the signal here to turn on and off. So now that we've got that working, we are less than 1 million RF. We're at 841,000. So the machine is off. Okay, and when I set this channel to activate, the machine should turn on. So we're going to do that, and sure enough, the machine is on. And let's just watch the power here. It's going to go up rather quickly, and at 1 million RF, it should turn itself off if we've done everything correctly. Okay, turned itself off. Now the reason it didn't do it immediately is because we're having it check every half second. We don't really care. 1 million RF is a lot. We don't really care whether it goes over by half a second. Let's say that it just ticked, at the one tick, and then it hit 1 million the second tick that this hasn't been checking. Well, that means it's got 8 more ticks before, or 9 more ticks before it checks it again. Well, in that time, we're producing 500 whatever per tick. So we've got 9 ticks of power that occur before our machine checks again to make sure that this is over 1 million. That's okay. That's all happening so fast that it doesn't really matter. I have set up computer craft systems and code that check it pretty much immediately. So what happens is if I have a really power hungry system, I set it to check very quickly so that it turns on and off. And you can just look here and it turns red and green, kind of red, green, red, green, red, green, faster than I can say it. And what that does is it kind of sets it into a state of cooldown where it's not really using power, but it's generating power at the same time. Remember how earlier I said that when this machine is turned off after it's been on for a while, it still generates power for a little bit of time? Well, if you turn it on and off quick enough at a specific power level, you turn it off and on quick enough, this machine will basically run for free. I mean, it's very, very, very efficient with systems like that. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But what I would like to do more to make this thing a little bit more efficient is to teach you a little bit more about the heat transfer system. Okay, so we're going to grab some buckets. We're going to help it potentially generate a little bit more power. So I'm going to go turn this logic channel off for a little bit. We want to kind of play with this for a while. Okay. I want to see how much power does this generate at full capacity. So it's running at, I think it was 560 something. 560 RF per tick. Let's just let it run till it's going. Oh, not even 560. So 547. 547. Okay, let's turn it off and let's come in here. It's okay if you do this. You just don't necessarily want to be in here when it's on. Not that that's a big deal, but so we're going to put water around here. Actually, let's pick this water up. I want to show you something else. No, no, that's gonna go downstairs. That's okay, no big deal. Oh, it's not gonna go downstairs. It's just gonna wash away some of those. Okay, so what I wanted to show you was this core heat. Okay, so we've got two heat items in this game, or in this machine, that generate power. So this column in the middle that I'm looking at, the yellow column, generates a lot of heat because that's where all of the reaction is. If you think about a regular real reactor, think of the yellorium as being uranium. Okay, so you put uranium, you know, a very unstable isotope, and you just kind of let it do its thing. Well, it's going to generate a ridiculous amount of radiation, which generates a ridiculous amount of heat as it's decaying over time, okay, becoming a more stable isotope. That heat is generally the biggest problem of most reactors. Okay, so in real life, you're looking at a nuclear reactor. You've got the basic power source, which is this uranium, whatever it is, whatever isotope that they're using these days, or something, you know, it might not even be uranium anymore. That generates a lot of heat. We've got to cool that heat down somewhere. And so I think for a while, maybe they're still using water as that medium. Takes the heat, steams it, turns it into steam because it's so hot. And there's a collection system that grabs the steam, puts it into water as it cools down, and then puts that cool water back into where the reactor rods are. And they probably bring that water down just above freezing, I would imagine. Or maybe they're using liquid nitrogen now. I have no idea. Anyway, so that's the basic concept, right? So today in Minecraft, with the extreme reactors, what we're doing is we have this core heat, and that core heat is ridiculously hot. Okay, the casing heat would be the heat of the surrounding unit. Okay, well, what we would like to do today, when I turn this on, this core heat goes all the way up to the top, and the casing heat has very little heat on it whatsoever. Well, what that's doing is it's not really efficient. We want that heat to come down a little bit and we want to disperse that heat to the outside walls. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, and we're going to put water here as our medium to separate that heat out to the sides. Okay. And let's put you there. We're going to come out there. All right. So I'm going to put solid blocks all the way around. Solid blocks of water. And swim up. That works. I can't swim up because there's a glass there. It's okay. I'm going to put you there, and then we're going to put you right there. Okay. Now we've got water surrounding our center pillar. This is the most basic fluid we can use to cool this thing down, just so you know. And we're going to try and take some of that heat from the core and move it to the sides of the building. So now let's turn it on and see how much RF we can produce, and let's see what happens to our heats. So we're just going to let it run. So already we're flying past 547. Flying past just by adding water to this thing. Okay, so our core heats is down to 1461 instead of all the way at the top. Casing heats come up a little bit, and we're generating 770 RF per tick. That's amazing. That is amazing. Okay, so we've already made, just with water, we've made this thing ridiculously more efficient. Okay, that's cool. So let's turn our channel back on, our automated channel back on. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to kind of set up a way to auto feed this thing. It's already doing it, never mind. So if this were to have a full stack of cyanite in here, I wonder why this is not showing me a tooltip. Cyanite ingot, whatever. Then the fuel would build up in there, or the waste would build up in there. And if the waste gets all the way to the top, like there's 12 ingots of waste in there, and we can't pull it out, then the machine's not going to work. But anyway, this is one of the coolest power generators that I have found in Minecraft. There's a couple other ones that are still very, very cool, because you can change the size of this thing. We're going to be getting into solid. Once I increase this a little bit bigger, we're going to be getting into solid heat dispersion systems and more advanced fluid cooling systems, fluid temperature dispersion systems. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to try and bring the core temperature of the center down as low as we can and send that heat over to the casing so that it can be evaporated off or whatever. So that's our ultimate goal with these things. But basically this is not going to run for a while, and once it gets below 1 million, it's going to turn back on for a little while, a very, very small while, because it's generating a lot more, 50% more power just by adding water. That's pretty big deal. Okay, so now that we've got our power systems a little bit more advanced, I would like to let's dump some of this stuff off here. I would like to take a look at some more. Let's turn JEI back on. I thought there was some more systems in Industrial Foregoing that I wanted to check out. Maybe not. Maybe the next thing I wanted to do was, let's see, I don't care about magic. Storage is interesting. Mob interactions. I would like to build a mob farm. I've said that before, but I haven't really needed to because of the chickens. Maybe the next thing we'll get into is refined storage. We'll finally be getting into our end game storage solutions. That way we can start automating not only the creation of these of items, but of food, like auto crafting of foods and stuff like that help us get through the game. So let me show you refined storage. Okay, so the most basic thing you're going to want in refined storage is this cutting tool. I should say, the most basic item in refined storage is the quartz enriched iron. Okay, so I've got a quartz enriched chicken. It takes 3 iron and 1 nether quartz. So the fact that I've got a quartz enriched chicken is pretty awesome because it's saving me a lot of iron and nether quartz. Since I'm automatically creating both of these through our chickens, it's not that big of a deal, but it is nice that I have a chicken that's already giving me this. Okay. So the most basic thing is this quartz enriched iron. If you don't have this, you can make a quartz enriched chicken. I would recommend doing that for sure. But if you've been playing along and you have a lot of iron chicken drops and nether quartz chicken drops, then you're probably good to go with both of these. So the next thing you want to make is the cutting tool. Okay, this takes sticks. We've got a gazillion of those and a 1 nether quartz thing. Okay, so we're going to make that, and then with that we're going to make the creative controller, or not a creative controller, just a controller. Okay, so we're looking at all this and we don't know what really any of this is except the quartz enriched iron. So let's dive into the machine casing here. This is just stone with quartz enriched around it. We have a lot of that, no big deal. And then the silicone, where are we going to get silicone from? We could get silicone essence from Mystical Agriculture. We could smelt nether quartz. That seems like a pretty good thing. Or we could get ourselves a silicone chicken. I'm totally interested in that. So how do I get a silicone chicken? This is going to be clay and sand. Do I even have a clay chicken? I don't believe that I do. Let's go take a look. If not, I'm going to be working towards that. No, I know that I don't have a clay chicken. I know my chickens, and I know that I don't have a clay chicken. So let's find out. Clay chicken is going to be snowball chicken and a sand chicken. I don't have snowball yet. Lapis and log. I do have those. Let's go stick those in the breeder. And, oh, I'm going to need my chicken items. My net, and there we go. One of these. And then the one that's almost broken. I am starting to like doing a little bit longer videos because I could have probably just made that big reactor video one video. It would have been really short, but it's not like I'm trying to do like a daily thing, even though I am releasing them almost daily. What did I say? Lapis. So that's going to be over here. And what else? Lapis and log. Okay. Log chicken right here. Hey. Okay. Lapis and log, and we'll let you guys kind of do your thing. I should just stick these over here. That seems to make sense to me. Okay. For now, though, we'll just take a bunch of nether quartz because I think we've got quite a lot. And we'll... Yeah, let's see. Quartz. Yeah, we'll just do a couple stacks. I think that should do for a while. I stick that in here. And just let that cook. Okay, 2 stacks. While we're waiting for that to cook, let's make the advanced processor, if we can. Okay, so we're going to basically cook a raw advanced processor. And that's going to need silicone. Processor binding, that's new. What is that? Okay, that's new. I've never seen that before. So that means we're going to need a slime ball chicken. Cool. Let's see what that requires. No, I don't want that. I want to wait for the green one to come around. Green one, okay. That is going to be made with clay, again, and cactus green. So we're working towards the clay chicken. A very important chicken to have. If you don't have it, go ahead and make it. Do I not have any slime? I don't have any slime. Is there any way to make slime other than... Okay, yeah, we can drop cactus into a mana pool with Botania. So, I've been wanting to do this too. So the Botania has an alchemical transmutation type system. kind of. It's really powerful, really cool. All it takes is mana, and you can turn items into other items. So while I wait for my chickens to breed, I can make this thing here, right here, alchemical catalyst. And this is going to take a little bit of effort, so let's bring this up. Not a big deal. We're going to make, we've got, hopefully I have gold. That's always been the crux. 2 brewing stands, and okay, let's put that there. I'm gonna need to grab, I don't have enough gold. That is soul crushing. Look at that. If I had 3 more nuggets, I'll bet I have 3 more nuggets. I could get that done. Well, let's go take a look. I'll bet I have 3 more nuggets. And while we're going out, well, yeah, while we're out here, we'll just grab a nether pearl and toss that in there and make ourselves a mana pearl. Gold chicken. Oof, man, just barely. This is so slow. And our ender pearl chicken, look at this guy. He's a superstar. Run over here and convert this. I'll just drop all of these in there and make a bunch of mana pearls. We're probably going to use them. Look at this. I've filled this up, or emptied this, rather. Oh, my game just locked up. There we go. That was weird. Toss those in there for now. So we've got a pretty large amount of mana here. So I'm just going to drop all these in there, turn them all into that. And yeah, that should be good. I'll show you how to use this catalyst thing, alchemical, whatever we're making. It's pretty cool. Okay. Now, what we'd like to do is get some cactus. We're turning that into slime. So, and we've got a cactus farm out back. I don't know if you knew that. I might have done that off camera one day and not even told you about it. But it's over here. And eventually, and then there's a bunch of sugar cane over there. So yeah, we've got some cactus. Anytime we need it, we can go get it. Okay, so to make this work, we have to stick this alchemical catalyst underneath the mana pool that we want to use. So let's put it underneath this one. And you'll be able to see if I had water, if I had dirt here that was covering up that block, I may not necessarily know which of these had the alchemical catalyst underneath it until I look at the mana pools, okay? The one that has a solid, kind of a solid base there is the one that doesn't have it. This one has the patterns in it. Okay, so now to convert stuff, if I were to drop this in here, it wouldn't do anything. Since the alchemical catalyst has this underneath it, it's going to use some mana, and it's going to consume the cactus and give us slime instead. Cool. Awesome. So now we have everything that we need, I believe. So let's go back to refined storage and make this. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, and we're gonna need some diamond and some redstone. Hopefully I have some redstone. I do. Okay, so that gave us an advanced processor. Now all we gotta do to use this advanced processor is just stick it in a furnace. Oops, not right there. Okay, that's gonna give us this advanced processor. We have our silicone, and we've got the rest of this stuff all ready to go. So we're gonna have our controller here pretty soon. Great. Okay, we can make our controller, and we can put our controller next to some power, and there we go. You have started refined storage. No, not really. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to make, let's see, Trying to think of what the next, I know like end what I want to do, but trying to think of what the next thing is. Okay, let's do this. Let's make a disk drive. So that's going to be another advanced processor. And we'll cook that down. Let's make this. And oops. This. And I'll be telling you what all of this is as we go. You know, for the mod, because this is probably one of the cooler mods. When its predecessor came out, Applied Energistics, way back, man, it's been years since it came out. I remember playing modded Minecraft, and it was, you know, I'd been playing modded Minecraft for a little while, and it was, so this modular storage that you're looking at right now, that wasn't a thing. So basically I had chests for every item, and I had the pipes that, if you remember watching in the regrowth series, the pipes were so very complicated. I had a storage room that was huge, and basically I had access to every item, and all I needed to do was stick all of my items into one chest, and I had the pipes that would go around and sort everything, right? Well, then Applied Energistics was released, and I could stick everything into a tiny little chip, right? So the same concept of being able to put all of my items into this, that was so, it blew my mind away that I could just put everything I owned into a digital thing and then just pull it out whenever I wanted. Okay, so enough reminiscing. So next thing we're going to do is we're just going to start with a 1K storage. So that's going to be, actually let's make a 4K storage. So that's going to be 3 1K storages. So, and I'll tell you what the K's stand for here in a little bit. So we're going to need 3 of these for our 4K, right? And then we're going to need these basic processors. Basic processors are made with iron instead of diamonds. So we're going to need 4. So let's go cook these. Shouldn't take too long. And okay, so that while we wait for that to grow, let's take a look at a grid. So we're going to need some more gold. Gold is the bane of my existence in this game. I just, if I could show you how far I've gone to find gold, you would be amazed. So yeah, we're gonna have to cut, unfortunately, because in this state we can't use this. We need a crafting grid or a regular grid to even access the items that we've got. But let's just keep making this, and then we're gonna need redstone and quartz. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna want to make is the 4K storage disk. So you're gonna take a 4K storage part and some housing. So let's make the housing. And then we're going to put those together. Okay, so basically we're taking the storage part, putting it in the housing, and making that. Okay, so now we take this and stick the disk drive here, and now we've got 0 out of 4,000 storage units. Okay, I'm going to cut and go find some more gold and be back. Okay, spent 30 minutes, only found 13 pieces of gold ore. That's terrible. I have to figure out a better solution for gold. I really do. Okay, so where were we? We were making this. We've got our controller. Basically, so what the controller does, if you're curious, it provides power to all of the rest of your refined storage. And as long as the refined storage items that you make are connected to each other, they will all receive the ability to be used. So they all, I wouldn't say they all use power. This doesn't use power, but it does require the controller to be connected to it. And the more items that are connected to the controller, the more power it will use. The controller will use to operate. So right now it's using whatever FE is. Let's say that's just RF. It's using 1 RF per tick. That's nothing because we just have one item on here. Okay, so let's grab a grid here, and we're going to need to make a destruction core and a construction core. Oop, wrong one. And 2 of these improved processors, which is going to be 2 pieces of gold. So let's make 2 of these. And for this in here, we're going to make the most basic, almost the most basic. We're using a 4K storage disk instead of 1. But this is like the basic as far as items that you need to use. So I wouldn't worry about making a 4K storage. People that know what they're doing with this mod, you can go ahead, if you have the resources, go ahead and make a 64K, whatever, that's fine. This is mostly explaining for my brother just what the heck refined storage is and why we're using it. So we're going to use the most basic setup to get there. Okay, then we're going to need 2 basic processors. Let's make these. Okay, we need some more of this. Okay, 2 basic processors. And so today we're going to be done once we get this grid made and I can show you just the basics of storage. Refined storage, probably in tomorrow's episode. Refined storage is ridiculously powerful. I would say ridiculously powerful. It's very powerful. Mostly because we can auto-craft things with it. So we can set up patterns and designs and say, okay, this right here is kind of like an auto-crafting system. What refined storage does is, let's say that I want one of these. I don't have to go through and make the pieces that make the nesting pen. I can just say, hey, refined storage, make me one of these, and it will do all the pieces all the way up to it. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so we need a construction core. So that's going to be a glowstone with the basic processor, and we need a destruction core, which is nether quartz with our processor. Okay, now we need a machine casing. All right, we need some more quartz enriched iron. Let's go out to our chicken. My goal is to get each of these systems to be, each of these buildings to be on their own system. Quartz enriched chicken. Dude, you were working very good. How are we doing here? Oh, we got a snowball chicken already, so stop reading. Let's come back in here. Oh, nope. Okay, so now that we have a snowball chicken, let's do snowball and sand together. So I'll take you, snowball, sand. Where's our sand chicken? Here we go. Okay, so snowball and sand together. And we'll put our lapis back here. Yep. Put our log chicken back here. Great. I love this. This is so much fun. I really enjoy this. Okay. The chickens mod is so great, especially when it's combined with roost. I kind of think that the 2 were made for each other, and maybe more chickens was just an add-on to that. So, all right, let's go back to making this. Now that we have enough quartz enriched iron, and then we're gonna make a grid. Okay, so we're gonna put the grid right next to this. And what the grid does is it lets us access our items. So the grid is exactly the storage scanner, and the disk drive is basically the modular storage, but instead of 1 of these, the module, we can put 8 in here. Okay, and the way it does it is, instead of working off of stacks, it works off of bits of data. So let's pull everything out of here. So now that this has, actually, let's see how much of this we can put in here. Okay. The grid is basically an input-output for the whole thing. So I'm going to just toss all this in here. There we go. Now we have, I don't know how many items in here, but we've used up 531 of our 4,000. Okay. So let's take some more of these. We'll just not necessarily empty all of this because our system over here is not going to be able to maintain all of these items, I don't believe. So now we've got quite a few in here and we're up to 908. So we've got about a fourth of it stored up already. What we will need to do on our next episode is make larger ones, but we'll get into that later. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to convert, what I'm doing here is I'm converting our storage system over into refined storage, because refined storage is more flexible and can do more things for us. But anyway, we will cover more refined storage in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this one. That'll be it for today. You have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.